Today we're going to dive in and we're going to go right into how to run and put together your very first Facebook ad. So for those of you that are joining us, let me just stop this and I'm going to actually get something else recording. I mean, just a quick second, my friends. No, that's not what I wanted. All right, welcome back, everyone. Good to be with you. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, we welcome you with open arms. Let me see if I can get my screen situated accordingly. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Ryan Harris here. Nice to be with you today. And I am excited to share with you some really cool information about how to best use social media to build your business, and especially when it comes to Facebook advertising. Now, 2 weeks ago, and I apologize for those of you that were on with us last week, we had some technical difficulties, but this week, hopefully we've got this worked out. So I'm here, Ryan Harris. Brad Forbush is on the line with us as well as Mitch Adams. I am the CEO of Strategic Social Partners. Brad is the president of our company, and Mitch is the chief operations officer. We're excited to bring to you today's webinar about how do you set up your first Facebook ad and what does that look like and how do you best create success using that. Now, 2 weeks ago, like I mentioned, we talked a lot about awareness campaigns. We talked a lot about consideration campaigns, and we talked a lot about conversion campaigns. And what's the difference between all three? Why would we use one over the other? And I want to dive into that a little bit more in detail today. And I want to give you a scenario of more or less a client that we've done a lot of work with in the past that we've had success with. And now I'm going to show you exactly how we had success. Okay. So first, let's dive in first and foremost again to talk more about marketing objectives. I know some of you that were on with us last time are here back for the first time. Brad, I cannot hear you if you're hearing me. Okay, so we have three different main marketing objectives. If you look on the left-hand side of creating your own ads, this is inside of Ads Manager. You can see up here on the top left-hand side, it says Ads Manager, but there's three main things that you need to consider and understand when creating your very first Facebook ad set. First, what is the objective? What is the overall objective of what I want people that I'm putting an ad in front of to look at? Okay. Second is, what is the ad set? And there's a lot of subcategories under the ad set, but just recognize that you can create one objective and create multiple different types of ad sets, and then even a subcategory of that, multiple different types of ads. Now, why would we have campaigns, ad sets, and ads? Well, a campaign is basically the overall objective, and we'll talk more about that in detail. The ad set itself identifies the audience. Maybe you want to market your products or your services to the exact same audience every time. Okay, so we'll talk about what that looks like, and the placement, like where do we want this to be placed? We're gonna go through and dialogue that. This might be a little bit longer conversation today, but I think it's going to be super valuable for those of you that are on with us. Okay. The next one is budget and schedule. Like what is it? What is the budget that we want to establish, and what is the schedule? Now, that being said, we can now go in and create multiple different image ads inside of 6 to 10 to 15 different image ads inside of an ad set. They usually give you 6 maximum images, but you can do more. But you can create multiple ads to run to the same audience, the same placement, and the same budget and schedule to see what's working best. And again, we'll dive in and talk in more detail what that looks like and how it works, okay? So I want to give you the overarching, when you create your first ad set, I want you to think of this. What is the objective? Who am I advertising at? We talked about target demographic a few weeks ago. Where am I going to place this ad set? And then what's the budget and how long do I want to run this specific ad for? Okay. And then we'll talk about, okay, what's the format? Is it an image ad? Is it a video ad? What type of ad is it itself? And then what is the format, or what's the media? I guess that's the media, but what's the format? Meaning, do I want it to be a canvas ad? Do I want it to be a run people to a place on my website, or so on and so forth? Okay. All right, here we go. First, Marketing objectives. Now, we talked about the 3 different types of marketing objectives. And for today's purposes, I'm only going to talk about awareness, why we would use awareness, and then we're going to actually walk through and create an ad. Next week, we'll create an ad in a consideration metric. And then finally, we'll run an ad in a conversion metric. And you know what might be cool, Mitch and Brad, at some point, we ought to consider running an ad set and then bringing back and showing metrics of the ads we're running, and or I know we talked a lot about bringing up some of your ads. So Sean, Jennifer, Brittany, Carla, Kim, Karen, Johnny, all of you that are on here with us, we can go in and create an ad for you and help you create an ad and then walk through the success of that ad set. Okay? All right. So let's dive right in. There's 3 main types of awareness ad. There's brand awareness ad. And if you go over here right to the right, it'll give you a little information icon and you can figure out exactly what that is. So a brand awareness is increasing awareness for your brand by reaching people who are most likely or more likely to be interested in it. So maybe you have a brand that's, talking about Sean. And for those of you that are on with us, just throw in your chat window, what type of a business do you run? I'd be interesting to find out what type of business you run. And screen isn't in focus. Let me see if I can zoom in a little more. What type of business you run, and then we can even give you some more specifics. Whoa, here we go. Okay, so we have brand awareness, which is basically getting people more effectively inside of your brand, what your brand is, and recognize this isn't your product or your service, but this is your brand, okay? And your social media brand. The next one is local awareness, which is promote your business to people who are nearby. And then reach is show your ad to the maximum number of people. So I'm curious to find out, those of you that are on with us, which type of awareness ad set would you like to create? Give me some insights. And then I'll show you some ad copy, some images that we used. Okay, Brittany, real estate. Let's do it. So if I'm running a real estate ad and I want to go specifically to let's say we're having an open house, right? And a local awareness ad. So you're trying to reach people who are nearby. So let's click on local awareness. You'll see as you click on the awareness on the campaign, it will shift the objective over to the ad set. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to just hit continue. I'm going to call this local awareness. Hold on 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to close a couple other windows here. I think it's slowing down my speed significantly. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go create a local awareness ad. I'm going to call this real estate. And then I'm going to hit continue. And that's going to take us now inside of our ad set. So the ad set then says, okay, what page specifically do you want to associate with your ad? Choose the Facebook page you want to promote. Now, this doesn't mean I'm going to promote in this case the open house. It's just this. What is the page that they want people to take you to, or what's the page that you actually want to go to? So right here, you can click in this drop-down menu. For those of you that only have one page, your Facebook page is probably going to come up there auto-populated. My computer is super slow right now, but let's just say I want to do something with seeing if I have a real estate page here. I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's just say I'm a real estate agent. I have a business page, and I want to run it directly at my real estate agency. Okay. Now I can go in and say, okay, define who you want to see your ads. Right now, it's giving me some crazy location in Springfield, Illinois. Nope, Springfield, Oregon, Eugene, Oregon, Springfield, Oregon. All right, because that was dependent on where that was. So I'm going to go down here real quick, and I'm going to change this. I understand what you're doing here. I'm just going to go. I'm going to look this up. Let's say this is my office address. This is working hard. My computer's working really hard. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. So, and it has a radius. It gives me a specific radius. I'm going to stop this recording. I'm not liking this recording. It's bogging us down too much. So I'm just going to close this out really quick. All right. So this gives me the address. It gives me a 10-mile radius. If I want to go, and it gives me kind of an idea of where that is. So if I want to increase that radius to about 25 miles, then that'll show me what the potential reach is over here on the right-hand side. If I want to go to 50 miles, then it'll also show me the potential reach, which that'll get down into other areas. So that increases my reach to 150,000. Now, this is the total number of people you selected in your audience who will estimate will be in your area based on the activity in Facebook. Okay? So that'll give us a pretty good indication of what's there. I'll close this out too. Okay. Next, you can go in and select the age demographic. I can say, okay, I only want to get in front of, from a buyer's perspective, those people that are 25 plus. Now, here's a tricky one, because in this section, the placement section where it says show your ads to the right people in the right places, most people will just select this automatic placement, which means your ads will be shown to your audience in places they're likely to perform best. For this objective, placements may include Facebook and Instagram. I never use the automatic placement. I always go to edit placements, and here's why. If you look inside of Facebook, they have this, with some types of Facebook ads, they have this right column ad set. And based on the research that we've done with our ad sets, 91+% of the people are viewing ads via a mobile device. Well, on a mobile device, it doesn't show up in right column. So why would you ever place something somewhere, spend money to put something in front of someone when they can never really even see it? So that's why you want to be super specific in selecting where you want. So this is showing, okay, I want it to show up in my Facebook feeds. Mobile is enabled, desktop is enabled. That's exactly where I want it to show up. Now, I always suggest when it comes to running a Facebook ad set that you want to segment each of those elements, each of the different types of platforms, so that you know what's performing the best. Meaning, you'll see ad sets, right? I can still leave the same campaign. However, I can change the ad set so that I'm running it to a different placement so that it's still within the confines of that same marketing objective. Okay? So you have all devices. Now this, I might even just run a mobile only ad set, or I might run a desktop only. If I run a desktop only, then I'm okay to use that right column. If I'm running mobile only, then I would totally eliminate the right column. Now you'll notice that this placement isn't available with a local awareness objective. So these are based on, these objectives in general are only based on I'm sorry, the platform or the location of the ad set are dependent on the type of marketing objective you establish for your business or for your ad set, okay? So, again, if I'm going to run an ad set to Facebook audiences only, then I would just run it to the feeds, leave these as ineligible. If I want to then create another ad set and run it at an Instagram ad audience, I would totally uncheck this, and then I would check. So if I check this, for instance, then I would just uncheck Facebook feeds. So now I know for sure that it's only an Instagram ad set. Does that make sense? You guys have any questions about that so far? If you do, feel free to chime in here. I'd love to hear the questions that you have and the things that are happening there. Okay. Diving into it in more detail. So now under here, it'll say specific mobile and operating. You can do Android only. You can do iOS only. And then you can also only have the ad placed in front of them, especially if it's a video ad, only when they're connected to Wi-Fi. Now, I always leave that off just because of 4G LTE, right? Most people can stream things fast enough, sometimes even faster on their 4G than they can on Wi-Fi. So I never select that because I don't want, unless, of course, there's a product that is specific to wireless or to internet, right? Okay, so that's, that might not even be the right scenario. Okay, so Sean asks me, so you can duplicate the ad set, one on Instagram and one, that's correct, Sean. So it'd be under the same campaign. I can go create a similar ad set or replicate the ad set and then just change the placement. Okay, now a couple things about the budget. I can place a daily budget. I can do a lifetime budget and see the difference. You can say daily budget, run my ad sets continuously starting today, or set a start and end date. And then I can put together when I want it to start and when I want it to end. I can do a lifetime budget, which just basically says, okay, I'm just going to run this between these specific time frames. Ad scheduling, it'll say I want to run ads all the time. Or let's say, for instance, with real estate, it's on a Saturday. All you want to do is run them specifically on a Saturday or a Friday and a Saturday, and you don't want to run them throughout the whole week. I can go say, okay, well, I just want to run it. Let's call it 3 to 9 p.m. on, let's call Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if I just want to select a certain time frame, so Sean, in your case, where when you're going to have people coming in, for instance, with the cruise, and they're going to be coming in certain time frames, and you want to run a specific ad set at people that are going to be in that area, you could run this just like that. Does that make sense? Brittany, same thing with you. If you want to put together an ad set that's specific for driving people to an open house, you can do the exact same thing inside of that. All right? So then you select. So I just say, okay, I want to select those hours. And Sean, this is where it's important. I would just say Facebook. You want to make sure you name your ad sets, especially if you're going to do different times. Yeah, you totally could. You can totally set those hours, Brittany. Set them so the hours are coming up during the actual. So let's say you want to go all day Saturday, right? Well, let's just go call it 7, right? Say you want to just set those times as well on Saturday to get some pre-information going into it. Yeah. It'll be better use of your dollars, Brittany, if you know specifically what you're trying to accomplish. Now, running them all the time is great because it creates awareness, which is what this is. But if you wanted to run those inside of specific time frames, it could be a lot better use of your dollars. Now, that being said, we tested. We have people that convert on all different areas. What you could do is you could start an ad set and just run it continuously. You can go into the reporting and the KPIs and see when people are opting in and when people are most paying attention to that based on the time that they're spending, or when they're, inside of the KPIs, you can go look at times, and then you could create a different ad set, remarketed ad set, and put that here that has more defined times. Okay. So this is my Facebook ad set. I'm just going to say continue here. And then I'm going to go into the actual types or format of the ad. So I can do a carousel ad, which is just a scrolling image. Maybe you've seen those. They go to the right. I can create up to 6 ads with one image, meaning there's 6 different things on the ads, 6 different types of images. There's a single video ad, or there's a slideshow. Now, in your case, Brittany, I would take and say, okay, I'm going to do this as a slideshow. Take all of the images that you pull from that specific listing and turn them into a slideshow. All right? And then from there, then you can go and add the actual images. Now, I'm just going to play around. I'm just going to take some standard images, but you can definitely do whatever you want. Okay, so high impressions. So if you look through, you can create different types of customized themes. So this is what it looks like. So I'm going to choose this theme. And then I can go in and add images. Now, in my case, I'm just going to add a bunch of images. Now, these obviously don't deal with real estate, but these are just some images that you can put into the context of your presentation. I can actually go in and place some music inside of it. See if we can hear the music. So that'd be the music that would associate the video. I'm going to turn that down. But that's the video. I can add my logo for my company if I'd like to. So let me just go like this and show you what that's going to look like. It's really cool when you start doing some of these things. The value, I mean, you used to have to go and create a lot of this stuff by itself. So I'm just going to go add my logo in. Okay, I'm going to say review. So it's going to generate a low-res slideshow presentation. And this is what it's going to look like. Here we go. So that's an idea. And again, that's not perfect by any means, but at least it's an idea of what it might look like. Now I'm going to say finish. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to keep it. It's going to take about 2 minutes to 10 minutes to upload that. Now we get into the text. So we've gone through the format. Now we've gone to the media. I'm going to go to my Instagram page. You might have your business page that's associated with this right now. Here we go. Okay. Now what I want to do, the text. Now this is a super, super important part of, and there's a lot of psychology that goes into this. Now I'm going to just copy and paste. So we did an ad for one of our clients, and I just want to show you the ad copy and give you some context as to and give you some ideas as to why we're doing it the way that we are. So if I go here, copy and paste this in. This gives us some text, right? So here's the text behind what we're trying to accomplish, right? And then this obviously doesn't even get close to what this real estate ad was, but I'm giving you some context. First, you want to start off with some sort of a question that's going to pique interest. Okay? Start with a question that piques interest. Then go into here's a lot of context. Now, a lot of people say, well, and you see this all the time when people run ads, this is all they put. They put still wondering where you're getting your Thanksgiving turkey. We like to write really solid ad copy. And I think, Lynn, you're actually on this webinar with us right now. Good to have you with us, by the way. But this is one we ran for Lynn, one of our clients out of Eugene, Oregon. Anyway, so let's talk about the psychology behind this for just a minute. So first, the question, it opens up a question, it piques interest, it gets people thinking, okay, what is it that they're talking about? Right away, you want to capture some information that's going to give them exactly what you're going to be talking about. Even if it's a video, you want to put it all in text, because there's a lot of people that will read text. There's other people that will watch video. There's other people that will read the subscripts of video. So you want to make sure you're hitting all of those different senses when you're putting together the ad set. Now, another thing that's super important when you're writing ad copy is you want to get to a place where you're actually saying see more. Because if you're saying, I want to see more here, when the minute that they click on that, it's going to give more organic exposure. Okay, it's going to expose people to your Facebook's saying we want to give more exposure to this. So you click that see more, and now all of a sudden Facebook's thinking, well, this is an ad that's relevant to people. I'm going to broadcast it to even more people with that same ad dollars. Okay, so there's that. You can just put the headline in here. So that's the text that goes above. Go down here below. You'll see right here below. See if I can get down a little lower. Okay, so you can add the URL where you want them to go. So that might be the landing page to your MLS. You can change the call to action button here. It's got a lot of them. Call now, get directions, or send a message. You can put a different headline in here. Right, so there's a real estate open house. And that'll show up right here below. Right there. You might even go in and, there's the URL that you can send them to. So what this is like, real estate. Now, just to put this in proper context with real estate, inside of here in the text, I would probably talk about a few of the specs on the house, square footage, things of that nature, so that they'd be interested in actually coming and taking a look at it. All right, now that I've done that, you can track your conversions, or I can just go and say, okay, certify compliance. It looks like your ads maybe for housing, employment, credit opportunities. If your ads for housing, employment, you'll need to certify that you comply with our policy, prohibiting discrimination, yada, 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 all the legal jargon. And if I say, okay, I'm going to certify compliance, I acknowledge that I see it. I'm going to say confirm. Then I can place the order. I can just select that and place the order. So that's exactly how you set up your very first Facebook ad set to really start to create some momentum. And then we'll get into the reporting later. But so that's it, guys. That's the elements. The main things you want to consider first is placement, right? The audience, obviously, well, number one is audience, your target demographic. Second of all is placement. Where are you going to place it and why? The next is your budget and schedule. As a rule of thumb, you can typically get in front of 10,000 people for every $100 you spend in ads. That's with a limited amount of organic reach. If you have a lot of organic reach, you're going to expand even beyond that. You have the format, which is the type of image ad. You have the media, which is this portion, or the text. The media, I'm sorry, is up here. The different types of media. So you have the format itself, which is the type of ad you want to create. You have the media, which is what you want to actually put into the ad. And then you have the text that is associated with it. And then you click the button and you say, let's launch this and run this Facebook ad set. All right, guys. Listen, any questions today about this? Pay close attention to the ad copy. Ad copy is super critical for conversion. Images are super critical for conversion. I had a friend call me yesterday and he said, listen, I'm getting ready to put together some ads. Can I put an ad out there, an image-based ad that has text on the image? And I said, I don't think you should, because Facebook doesn't like that. They limit the amount of exposure you get if you're putting an image that has text on the image itself. Okay? All right. Well, listen, Sean, thanks for being with us. Brittany, for all of you that were with us, let's see who else was on with us today. Jennifer, good to have you. Brittany, Carla, Kim, Lynn, Karen, Jeff, Frank, good to have you guys with us. Thanks for spending time with us. We have got to figure out a good recording software so we can record these for a later date. But as of right now, it's live. For those of you that are with us, you get to see it. For those that miss it, they miss it. So we will be back again next Friday, 12 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We'd love to have you come back and join us. Okay, Karen, you asked a great question. Some great questions here. Okay, what with the platforms, do I want feeds selected on Facebook and Instagram or keep them separate? You want feeds. Okay, so as far as the platform is concerned, when you're talking about placement, you want to segment. So run a Facebook ad set or an ad set that's specifically for Facebook, and then you want to run an ad set that's specifically for Instagram. And then from a placement perspective, they'll both show up in feeds on each one of them, especially if you're running an awareness objective campaign. Okay? All right, let's see. Karen, when do you recommend doing a boosted post? There's a lot of strategy, Karen, behind doing boosted posts versus doing an ad like this. One of the things that we've learned is when you're boosting just stagnant image posts, it's not quite as effective as if you create an actual ad to capture that momentum. Now, what I recommend boosting posts is when you're running some sort of a video post on your Facebook page, or you're running especially a Facebook Live video. If you're running Facebook Live video, that's the best thing you can possibly do, because you typically start the Facebook Live video, you let it run for 2 or 3 hours or 10 hours, and then you boost it afterwards. And it's incredible because you're capturing some organic reach first, and then you're building more into it. The other way I would suggest boosted posts is if you're getting some momentum on a post that you put on your page, don't be afraid to boost it, because then there's some more already organic. It's showing that your audience is accepting what you're doing. So don't be afraid to boost that as well. I've got one of our clients, one that we've worked with in the past, that all they do is boosted posts. They post something and then they boost it versus actually running an ad set. So they're missing a lot of elements to actually creating ads versus just boosting posts. So if you're trying to, in an awareness section, an awareness campaign, it's a great thing to boost a post because you're really trying to just create massive exposure. And again, we'd run awareness campaigns more at cold markets than we would anyone else. Okay, great questions, guys. Any other questions you have for me today? If not, great to be with you. And hopefully from a technology perspective, Brad, Mitch, and I will all three be on with you next week. All right? Okay, take care. Have a great day.